But this is the Obama era, right? I was just saying, you know, it feels pretty good to be here in the Obama era. It does feel pretty good to be here in the Obama era. I was in the civil rights movement, and having the smartest guy in the room and the most decent guy elected the American president, who happens to be a black guy, who's a community organizer. Gee, if you had told me such a thing, I would have said, maybe after we have a revolution. But it ain't the America I know. Right? I mean, this is the America that murdered Martin Luther King in 1968. It's the America that murdered Bobby Kennedy, who at the end of his life was, for many people in the civil rights movement, the inheritor. They thought maybe Bobby Kennedy would take up son of King. 40 years is a long time. Anyway, the Bush-Cheney version of American imperialism made America the nation of torturers. And it's worth really letting that fact sink in. I want this to be a context to this talk. If you take the context a little bit, the amusingness or the bizarreness or the what planet do they live on question about political science might come home to you. Second thing is, Barack got elected. They only elected a black guy here, or mixed race guy here, because you know, we're fighting two losing wars at great cost, and the economy collapsed. And if we had John McCain be president, he probably would have already bombed Iran, and we would probably have permanent conflagration in the Middle East. Like, they happen to be Shia in southern Iraq, and the British are smart enough to be at the airport in Basra. They can take off. But the Americans aren't smart, and the people around John McCain aren't smart. They're crazy. They're fanatical authoritarians who are wrongly called neoconservatives. If there's some relationship between these people and being for habeas corpus, and rule of law, and not invading every place, because you know it's hard to make other people be like you. If you want other people to be like you, you know, at the point of a gun. Stalin found this out about socialism, and it's hard to talk with this lingo, but Clinton and Bush should have realized it about their great hopes for democracy. You don't do it in company. I mean, I thought democracy was when people voted. It's a little odd to put the gun on people and say, now, how are you going to vote? Right? I mean, the notion of freedom there seems to be problematic. Anyway, but here's Barack, and unlike any modern American president, you know, like when LBJ got freaked out at Martin Luther King, well, before that, when LBJ decided that he wanted to escalate the war, Kennedy was wrong. He hadn't escalated the war. He wanted to escalate the war. He didn't take no time out. He didn't talk to anybody. He escalated. He didn't want to be a president who could be blamed for losing a war. He didn't think he could win the war, actually. He didn't have any bright ideas about it. But, you know, we're America. America has the biggest guns in the world. America produces 2/3 of the new weapons in the world. America arms every regime, not just democracies, every dictatorship. Go to Egypt. You want to know how they step on people in Egypt? They got a lot of American weapons. Sadly, I'd be a Jew. Go to Israel. I'm a prophetic Jew. I like to speak the truth about Israel. They get more American weapons, and they use them in Gaza. And if you have the funny view that Palestinians are human, and that a Palestinian child, or a Jewish child, your child, my child, any child, is of infinite worth and is holy, you'll be very troubled by Gaza, where some 300 Palestinian children were slaughtered. And even if you say, as the Goldstone report, which the Congress just spat on yesterday because congressional people don't read and are on the take, in this case from AIPAC. There are a number of people who aren't on the take. There's a guy named Baird who actually gave a very moving speech about this. He's been to Gaza, so he wanted to talk about it. So anyway, Hamas, which does not pursue nonviolence, which is very unwise, and shoots off rockets, which among other things killed a 7-year-old Jewish boy, Israeli. And that helped Netanyahu and Lieberman. Because you kill innocents, then they can, and you endanger innocence, then they can say you're a crazy person who endangers innocence. And even though the people who run Israel are like way crazier than that, and they hold people in Gaza and they don't let them out, and then shoot. Anyway, every child is of equal value. Well, we do have a president who wants to move in the direction of not escalating wars. And he's taken time out in Afghanistan, and he's actually considering for weeks how much he's going to escalate, even whether he's going to escalate. He started escalating further. He proved he was a tough guy. He was against the Iraq War, but he wanted to do the right war, not the dumb war, the war in Afghanistan. He really wanted to make some headway. But you know, the war in Afghanistan is a completely losing proposition. There's an American soldier over in Afghanistan who happens to speak the local languages. He's a rare bird. And he went to a farmer, and he said in Pashto, "You seen any foreign troops around here?" And the guy looked at him and he said, "Yes, you. There is an occupying army in Afghanistan. It ain't the Taliban. The Taliban's very bad in many ways. But there is an occupying army in Afghanistan, and it is the United States Army and the NATO Army. And the fact is that our approach to Afghanistan is not going to yield anything positive if we keep trying to beef up the military." Mr. McChrystal, who is a torturer from Iraq, whom Barack had to, he's supposed to be a smart general, so Barack moved him to Afghanistan. So in Afghanistan, he realized you can't kill civilians. You've got to stop killing as many civilians. He told all the forces, don't kill as many civilians. The problem is you don't speak the language, and you might get blown up. Chances are, and there are two of you, well, if there's a car coming toward your checkpoint, you might shoot the people in it. If they happen to be children, tough luck. American occupation in Iraq and Afghanistan has done no good. Not one bit of good for the United States. The fact that Obama is considering that not escalating is like a huge thing. Barack won't try torturers so far to restore the rule of law because you'd have to put all the top officials of the Bush administration, including my student Condi Rice, in jail. Colin Powell may have an excuse, but none of the rest of them do. They're all war criminals. And if you take the Justice Department, which framed up Democrats to get Republicans elected, and fired some 13 attorneys who refused to engage in dishonest, criminal, Christian-motivated, reactionary Christian, not Martin Luther King Christian, reactionary Christian-motivated trials. Man, you probably get, oh, I don't know, 50, 60 major people go to jail for one time. And if you looked at all the people who committed crimes, there might be a lot of people. One of the reasons that Obama is going along with not having so many legal proceedings is that the question of whether we have the rule of law in the United States of America, rather than being the torture regime that took this innocent man, Harar, who lived in Canada, who'd gone on a trip to Morocco, I believe, or someplace or other, Tunisia. He has a vacation home in Tunisia. He can't go back to Syria. And sent him to be tortured. And this court, if you can refer to it as a court, says, well, he didn't. They're fine, you know, we don't have to. He has no case. The reason Obama doesn't pursue this is it's a pretty big deal to pursue it, at least so far.